I do not even know where to start with this mess of a life I've been stuck in. Maybe I just need to get it all out because it's eating me alive. I never thought I'd be the guy writing something like this, but here I am. 52 years old, sitting in a quiet house with too much in my head and nowhere to put it except here. People always joke about midlife crisis, but mine did not come with a fancy car or a haircut. Mine came with finding out that my wife of 25 years has been sneaking around with my daughter's boyfriend. And not just any guy either. He's 21, a kid. Same age as my daughter. I keep replaying in my head the first time I met him. He came over with my daughter one night for dinner. He was polite enough, shook my hand, told me he was studying something useless at college that I pretended to be interested in. I thought he was decent enough. My daughter seemed happy, so I did not dig too deep. And that's what a father does, right? You do not interrogate every guy your daughter brings home. You give them a chance. He hung around a lot. Helped carry groceries, offered to mow the lawn once or twice, even joked with me about sports. I thought he was harmless. Then I started noticing little things with my wife. She'd put on makeup before he came over, the kind she did not bother with for me anymore. She wore clothes that I had not seen her wear in years, showing a bit more skin, looking a bit too polished for just hanging around the house. At first, I told myself I was being paranoid. After all, she's 50. Maybe she just wanted to feel good about herself. But then I caught the look. The long glances at each other when they thought no one was paying attention. The way she laughed at his dumb jokes, the kind of laugh she had not given me in a long time. Sometimes when he left, she'd follow him out to the driveway for just a quick chat, and she'd come back inside with that little glow on her face. I kept telling myself to stop overthinking, that I was reading into nothing, but deep down, part of me knew something was off. The real proof came one night when I went to get my charger from her car. Her phone was sitting there, plugged in. The screen lit up and there was his name. I shouldn't have looked, but curiosity burned through me. One tap led to another, and suddenly I was scrolling through messages I can never erase from my brain. They weren't just flirty, they were graphic, filthy, the kind of things that made my stomach twist. He called her things I can't even write here. She replied like she was a teenager sneaking around behind her parents' back. This wasn't just some harmless fling. This was full-blown sneaking off to hotels, planning the next encounter kind of affair. I remember sitting there in the car, the glow of her phone lighting up my hands, shaking so bad I thought I might drop it. I felt this rush of heat in my chest, like my whole world had just been set on fire. 25 years of marriage, 2 kids, everything we'd built. And she was throwing it away for a kid. And worse than that, my daughter's boyfriend. That was the knife that twisted the deepest. Out of all the men in the world, she chose him. I did not confront her that night. I couldn't. Instead, I put the phone back, walked inside, and acted normal. I ate dinner with her like nothing had happened. I listened to her talk about work. I kissed her goodnight. On the outside, I was calm. On the inside, I was a storm. My mind was racing with images I couldn't control. Every time she left the house, I wondered if she was meeting him. Every time she smiled at her phone, I knew exactly who she was smiling at. I would lie in bed beside her while she typed away, pretending to scroll through Facebook. But I knew exactly who she was talking to. I became an actor in my own life, pretending to be the clueless husband while I gathered evidence. Screenshots of messages, emails, even bank charges for hotels. She thought she was being careful. She wasn't. Every little breadcrumb I picked up and tucked it away. I wasn't even sure why at first. Maybe part of me thought I'd use it in a divorce. Maybe part of me just wanted to torture myself with proof that I wasn't crazy. But the more I collected, the more an idea started forming in my head. Her 50th birthday was coming up. She had been talking about it nonstop. How it was a milestone. How she deserved something special. How it had to be memorable. She wanted a big celebration. I thought about that word, memorable. And that's when it hit me. She wanted a party she'd never forget. Fine, I'd give her one. But not the kind she was expecting. I booked the venue, organized the catering, sent out the invitations, family, friends, co-workers, even some of her cousins she barely talks to. Everyone she cared about would be there. On the surface, I was the doting husband, throwing his wife the party of a lifetime. Behind the scenes, I was planning her downfall. I prepared everything like a man building a case for trial. I printed out the screenshots, put them in envelopes. I even rehearsed what I'd say, making sure I did not come across as hysterical. I wanted calm. The night of the party came. She was glowing, absolutely radiant, in this new dress she had bought for the occasion. She soaked up the compliments, floated around the room like she was royalty. Everyone was laughing, eating, drinking. My daughter was there too, smiling, completely unaware of what was about to hit her like a truck. Watching them both, my wife and daughter, made my stomach twist. It was like holding a grenade in my hand, waiting to pull the pin. When it was time for speeches, I stood up. The room quieted. I started with the usual thanks, a little joke or two, making everyone relax. My wife was smiling at me, nodding along, expecting something sentimental. Maybe a slideshow, maybe a heartfelt speech about our life together. She had no idea. Then I told the truth. I said how milestone birthdays are about reflecting on the past and being honest about the future. And then I laid it all out. How I discovered her affair. How it wasn't just anyone but our daughter's boyfriend. I kept my voice steady, clear, like I was reading the news. People stared at me, confused at first. Thinking maybe it was a joke, then I pulled out the proof, screenshots, receipts, envelopes I passed around. You could hear the gasps, the murmurs. My wife froze in her chair, her smile collapsing, her eyes darting around the room. My daughter went pale, then bright red, then stormed out in tears. The silence in that room was deafening. Everyone's eyes were on her. She broke down, sobbing, shaking, trying to reach for me like I'd protect her. But I stepped back. She was on her own, makeup smeared, hair falling apart, screaming incoherent things while people whispered and stared. Some relatives grabbed their coats and left. A couple of her co-workers looked like they wanted to vanish into the floor. It was chaos, and she was right in the center of it. That was my gift to her. On her 50th birthday, the night she wanted to feel like a queen, I gave her the crown she earned. Not of jewels, but of shame. She thought she could hide it forever, that I was too much of a fool to see, but I saw everything. I let her have her party, her moment, and then I showed her who she really was in front of everyone she cared about. Now the dust has settled. House is empty. My daughter won't speak to either of us. She feels betrayed by her boyfriend, disgusted by her mother. She doesn't even know what to say to me. My wife is staying at her sister's, calling me non-stop, begging, crying, promising it was a mistake, promising she loves me, promising anything that might make me take her back. But all I feel when I see her is disgust. I do not know if I'll ever be able to forgive her. I sit here and replay the party in my head. Part of me feels vindicated, like I finally got my power back after months of playing the fool. But another part of me wonders if I went too far. Did I destroy too much in the process? My daughter is devastated. My family's fractured. My wife is humiliated beyond repair. Maybe I should have handled it privately. Maybe I should have confronted her one-on-one, kept it in the family. But she betrayed not just me, not just our marriage, but our daughter too. It felt right to make sure the truth was seen by everyone she lied to. So now I'm left asking the internet what I can't ask anyone else. AITA for blowing up my wife's affair at her birthday party in front of everyone instead of handling it privately? Update 1. I wanted to give an update because some people were asking for more backstory, and honestly, I think I need to lay it out for myself too. This did not come out of nowhere. My wife's affair with our daughter's boyfriend wasn't some shocking, isolated event. It was just the ugliest chapter in a book that's been rotten for a long time. When I look back on our marriage, I can see all the cracks I ignored. We got married young. I was 27, she was 25. She was beautiful, charming, kind of woman who walked into a room and everyone noticed. I thought I hit the jackpot in those early years. I was working long hours to build up our savings, chasing promotions, doing what I thought a good husband should do. She stayed home for a while and then picked up part-time work. Everything seemed fine. At least I thought it was. It wasn't until years later, long after our daughter was born, I found out she had cheated on me early in the marriage. A buddy of mine from back then, drunk at a barbecue, let it slip. Said he couldn't believe I'd forgiven her so easily. I was confused. Pressed him for details, and it all came out. She had slept with a co-worker during our second year of marriage. Not a fling, but a few months of sneaking around. I had no idea. She had hidden it so well that I was playing happy husband, proud father, with no clue she'd already betrayed me. I confronted her, of course. By then, years had passed since it happened. She broke down, admitted it, said it was a mistake, swore it meant nothing. I wanted to walk away right then. I felt sick, knowing that the vows we made had been broken before our daughter could even talk. But I looked at my little girl, at the family we had built, and I couldn't pull the trigger. I told myself it was the past. Mostly, I didn't want my daughter to grow up in a broken home. I did not want her to bounce between parents, to have birthdays and holidays split, to feel like her life was unstable because of her mother's selfishness. So I buried it. I let it go. At least that's what I told myself. But once you know, you can't unknow. The trust never came back, not fully. Every time she went out, I wondered. Every time she smiled at her phone, I felt that knot in my stomach. She had a wandering eye. It never really stopped. I'd catch her looking at waiters, neighbors, random men at parties. Not just looking, but that long, hungry kind of look. Sometimes I'd see her posture change when a younger guy gave her attention. She thrived on it. Maybe she thought it was harmless. Maybe she thought I did not notice, but I noticed. I always noticed. I just chose to ignore it because the alternative was blowing up our family. My daughter was my world, and I wanted her to grow up with stability. I told myself I was protecting her, told myself staying together was the right thing, but the truth is, I was just swallowing poison year after year. I became the guy who looked the other way, the guy who let things slide, the guy who convinced himself it wasn't that bad. And she took full advantage of that. So when I found out about the affair with my daughter's boyfriend, it wasn't just about that one betrayal. It was every betrayal stacked on top of each other. It was 25 years of me sacrificing my peace of mind for the sake of our family, only for her to spit on it. It was me swallowing my pride, forgiving her once, and her proving to me that forgiveness was wasted. It was every long glance, every late night, every suspicion I buried coming back to mock me. And the part that hurts the most is that I wasted so much of myself protecting an image of a family that never really existed. I thought I was doing the right thing by staying for my daughter, but what good did it do in the end? My daughter still got hurt in the worst way possible. She lost her boyfriend, her respect for her mother, and probably some respect for me too, because now she knows I let things slide for years. She knows her mother had cheated before. She knows I chose silence over truth. Sometimes I think I created this mess by being too forgiving. Maybe if I had left her back then, she would have faced the consequences of her actions early instead of thinking she could keep getting away with it. Maybe she thought I'd always choose stability over self-respect. Maybe she saw me as weak. Maybe that's why she felt safe enough to sneak around with someone under my own roof. I don't know what's going to happen now. Divorce seems inevitable, though I haven't filed yet. Part of me is exhausted at the thought of lawyers, paperwork, splitting assets. Another part of me wants it done yesterday so I can finally be free of her shadow. My daughter's barely speaking to either of us. She's humiliated, angry, confused. She doesn't want to see her mother. I can't blame her. I do not know how long it'll take to rebuild with her, but I'll wait as long as it takes. She's the only one I care about now. So that's the backstory. I don't regret exposing her at her birthday party, not anymore. She deserved every second of it, but I do regret wasting so many years thinking she'd ever change. She showed me who she was early on, and I refused to see it. Now I'm paying the price, and so's my daughter. Update 2. I thought after the birthday party disaster my wife would finally realize it was over and give me space, but apparently humiliation in front of family and friends wasn't enough for her. If anything, it's like it flipped a switch in her, and she's been doing everything she can to claw her way back into my life. She did something recently that made me realize just how desperate and twisted she really is. For weeks after the party, she was staying at her sister's house, calling me every day, leaving voicemails that swung between sobbing apologies and furious rants about how I ruined her life. I ignored most of it. Then she started showing up at the house. At first, it was just dropping off letters in the mailbox. Long handwritten pages about how she was lonely, how she did not mean for it to happen, how she still loved me. I tossed them straight into the trash. Then she escalated. One night I woke up at 2 a.m. to the sound of someone pounding on the front door. It was her. She was drunk, crying, begging me to let her in. My daughter wasn't home, thank God, but I stood there behind the locked door listening to her sob and shout and then threaten. She said if I didn't forgive her, she'd make sure everyone knew about my cruel stunt at her party. Imagine that, the woman who slept with our daughter's boyfriend, calling me cruel for telling the truth. I did not open the door. I called her sister, who eventually came and dragged her away. I thought that would be the end of it, but the very next day she showed up again, and this time in the middle of the afternoon, carrying groceries like nothing had happened. She tried to walk straight into the kitchen like she still lived here. I blocked her and told her to leave. She started crying again, saying she wanted to make things right by cooking dinner for me. I almost laughed. 25 years of marriage, and now, after she's been exposed, she suddenly wants to play the doting wife? I forced her out, but she left the groceries behind like she thought I'd cave later. I threw them straight into the trash. But the real kicker came last weekend. She somehow convinced a couple of her family members to come with her, thinking if they spoke to me, I'd change my mind. They showed up unannounced, standing on my porch, trying to tell me she was in a bad place, that she'd lost herself, that I should give her another chance for the sake of our family. I asked them if they even knew what she had done. Turns out she had told them I embarrassed her at her birthday by making up lies. Lies. That's what she's going with. I went back inside, came out with the folder of evidence I had kept, handed it to them and told them to read it before they dared come back. I haven't heard from them since. She did something else too that still makes me shake my head. She wrote this long post on Facebook about how betrayal cuts both ways and how she was publicly humiliated by someone she trusted the most. She never mentioned me by name, but everyone knew. A bunch of her friends commented with sympathy, calling her brave, saying they couldn't believe what she'd been through. She's spinning the story like she's the victim, like I'm some monster who humiliated her for no reason. That post made me angrier than anything else because it shows she hasn't learned a damn thing. She's not sorry for what she did. She's sorry she got caught. My daughter is furious with her too. She wants nothing to do with her right now, and my wife is using that as another manipulation tactic. She keeps saying I'm poisoning our daughter against her. Like my daughter can't think for herself, like she did not live through the betrayal firsthand. My daughter told me she blocked her mom's number after the 100th guilt trip message. She's done. And honestly, so am I. So yeah, my wife did something, or more like a string of somethings, all desperate attempts to crawl back into my life and rewrite the story. But it's too late. There's no coming back from what she did. And every stunt she pulls just makes me more certain of it. At this point, the only something I'm waiting for is the day the divorce papers are finalized. Update 3. I thought things had settled into a miserable kind of routine after the birthday blow-up and after my wife's desperate stunts, but I was wrong. My daughter did something recently, and honestly, I didn't see it coming. She's usually quiet and private, not the type to lash out. But apparently she had been bottling up all her rage, and when it finally came out, it came out with fire. For weeks, she had not said much to me. She was around the house sometimes staying with friends, keeping her distance. I knew she was angry, hurt, embarrassed. Her mom had betrayed her in the cruelest way possible. It wasn't just about me or the marriage, it was about her boyfriend, someone she trusted, someone she let into our home, into her life. And her own mother stole him. That's not the kind of wound that heals easily. She was quiet, but I could see it boiling in her. The way she rolled her eyes at the mention of her mom, the way she avoided looking at photos of her, the way her whole body stiffened any time her mom tried to call. She blocked her on her phone, but her mom still tried reaching out through emails, through relatives, through mutual friends. Always the same fake apologies, always the same excuses. My daughter ignored most of it, but I knew it was building. Then last week, she snapped. Her mom showed up again at the house. I wasn't home at the time, but my daughter was. Instead of ignoring her or slamming the door like before, she let her inside. I only found out later what happened. She told me everything in a rush, her voice shaking with a mix of anger and relief. She said her mom came in with a bag of little gifts, trying to play the doting parent like she could buy her forgiveness with trinkets. My daughter sat there listening, letting her talk, watching her spin the same tired lines about how it was a mistake, how she missed her, how she needed her back in her life. Then my daughter stood up, went to her room, and came back with the printed evidence I had shown her weeks ago. All the screenshots, the receipts, the proof. She threw it down on the table in front of her mom and told her she was done. She told her she wasn't her mother anymore, not in any way that mattered. But she didn't stop there. My daughter's smart, sharper than both of us combined, and she knows how to make a point sting. She pulled out her phone, opened her social media, and right there in front of her mom, she posted the whole story. Not every screenshot, not every ugly detail, but enough. Enough to let everyone know the truth, that her own mother had slept with her boyfriend, that she had betrayed both her husband and her daughter in one move. She posted it publicly, tagged her mom's account, and then blocked her. By the time I got home, the damage was done. My phone was buzzing with notifications, people messaging me, relatives calling me. Her post had blown up. People were commenting, sharing, spreading it around. My wife's perfect little image, the one she had clung to for so long, was shattered in a way even my birthday party reveal had not managed. The difference was, this time it came from her daughter. The one person she probably thought she could manipulate back into her corner. The one person she had hurt the most. When I walked in, my daughter was shaking. She told me she was done being quiet. She said if her mom wanted to play the victim online, then fine. She'd make sure everyone knew who the real victim was, and she did. My wife, of course, went ballistic. She called me screaming, blaming me for turning our daughter against her, accusing me of feeding her the idea. I told her I had nothing to do with it, and I did not. This was all my daughter's choice. She's 21, she's an adult, she made her own decision, but my wife couldn't accept that. She couldn't face the reality that her own daughter despises her now. The fallout has been brutal for her. Friends unfriended her, co-workers saw the post, even some of her family has gone quiet, refusing to pick sides but clearly disgusted. She called me again, sobbing, begging me to tell our daughter to take it down. I told her no. If she wants it gone, she can beg her daughter directly. But my daughter isn't listening anymore. She's cut her off completely. I don't know if what my daughter did was the right thing, but I can't say I blame her. She took control of the narrative in a way I couldn't. When I exposed her mom at the party, it was about my betrayal. But when she did it online, it was about hers. And I think that distinction mattered. It wasn't just a husband airing dirty laundry. It was a daughter making sure her mom couldn't pretend to be the victim anymore. Do I worry she'll regret it later? Maybe. Social media is unforgiving. And once something's out there, it's... But I also know she needed it. She needed to reclaim some power after being humiliated and betrayed. And she did it in the only way she knew how. So now the family is more fractured than ever. My wife is spiraling. Her reputation is in tatters, and my daughter wants nothing to do with her. As for me, I'm just trying to hold on to what little I can. My daughter and I are closer now in a strange way. She sees that I'm in her corner, that I did not feed her lies, that I'm not protecting her mom anymore. My wife thought she could cheat, spin it, cry her way out of it and move on, but she underestimates her daughter, and now, thanks to what my daughter did, she'll never escape the truth. Not in this lifetime. Update 4. This will be my final update because after this I'm closing the chapter on her for good. A lot of people asked what's next for me and my daughter, and the truth is we're leaving. Moving to a different state. My wife has no idea. The house has felt poisoned since everything came out. My daughter told me straight one night that she couldn't stay here anymore. Not in this house, not in this town, not anywhere her mother could reach her. She asked me if I'd leave with her. She did not even have to ask. She's my daughter, my only priority. And there was never a chance I'd let her face this alone. So we started planning in secret. No announcements, no warnings, just packing quietly, selling things off, making arrangements. I found a new job in another state. She lined up her transfer for school. We signed the lease on a place far away. A fresh start, clean slate, new life, where no one knows us as the family destroyed by scandal. Meanwhile, my wife is still lost in her own little world. She's emailing me about rebuilding, about how time will fix this, about how our daughter will eventually forgive her. She has no idea we're already gone in every way that matters. So it'll be physical too. She'll come back to an empty house and realize there's nothing left for her here. I do not feel guilty about not telling her, not after everything she's done. I gave her forgiveness once, years ago, when I found out she had cheated early in our marriage. I swallowed my pride and stayed because I did not want my daughter growing up in a broken home. I ignored her wandering eye, the little signs, the cracks. I thought I was protecting my family. Truth is, I was just delaying the explosion. When it finally came, it destroyed everything. Now the only family I care about is my daughter. She's the one I'm protecting. She's the one who deserves a safe, fresh start, far away from all this. And that's exactly what I'm giving her. And as for the marriage, our divorce got finalized last week. My daughter helped me by telling her mother that the only way she will have a relationship with her is if she agrees to give me a divorce. My wife took the bait in seconds. Maybe tricking her was not the best option, but it freed us from her. So that's it. Me and my daughter are moving. My wife will have no idea until she finds the empty house. And I won't look back. This is the ending I should have given myself years ago. Stay tuned for more stories from Our Girl Relationships.